everybody. So we're gonna do a chop and chat. So I have my wax. This is a dresser, and so I have wax here. I moved it from over there to here. So I could chop. I don't have a microwave, which I like to have, but we're gonna make it work. It's fine. So I just want to say welcome if you're new. I have my lovely candle here. This is one of my favorite Homeworks candle. It's apple pumpkin. It is amazing. I've got my coffee cup here, and it does have a little something extra because I don't wear no halos, and I just have been struggling with some. There's a bully here on YouTube, and it's not bothering me in the sense of what she wants, but it's bothering me in the sense that someone would go out of the way just to be mean to a lot of people in general. And I am going to handle it. So I am dealing with some things that I can do right now, and I'll be looking into more things I can do, but that's all I'm going to say about it, because that's exactly what a person and a bully wants, is to get, people to talk, right? So we're going to get into this. I did ask in my weekly melting basket on Sunday. Today is Wednesday. If you guys had any questions for me, and some of you did post some. So I think it's Tina F said, if you could change anything from a vendor, what would it be? Not asking to put any vendor on blast, not asking for a particular name. So I just think, for me personally, I think I've voiced my frustration before with requests. So I think there's just some vendors that you request and request and request, and it's like 6 months later, and then finally maybe your scent will be up and it's in an RTS and you're terrified you won't get it. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Because I do have a favorite. And I'm hopeful that I'm going to get it, but it's an RTS, so who knows. So that's, I think, my biggest thing. And I'm not saying I'm like not blasting that vendor. I'm just saying that everybody runs their business differently. There's a lot of vendors who don't do, like, they pour what they pour, and you get what you get, right? Like you tell your kids, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Like, I get that. That's fair. Let's cut up this Scentsy. I'm almost done with this brick, so I need to cut it up so I can finish it this week. So not like putting anyone on blast, because obviously I enjoy that particular vendor, and there's just a lot of vendors who don't do scent requests. They just kind of pour, and you're kind of going through their list. And then there's other vendors who always pour customer requests. So it's just a difference of how people run their business, and that's totally fine. That's why it's their business, right? Anything else I could change? No, that's probably just my biggest, like, frustration, is like when you have a scent that you really want and it maybe doesn't get poured for quite a long time, just because you don't want to be in that mentality of like, oh, I need to hoard this, I need to hoard that. This is vanilla bean buttercream. I've only gotten through a little bit, but now that I've been working on warming upstairs here in the main, like my open concept area up here, I found this is a good way for me to use my bricks, is because then I use quite a bit of this. And Scensy's wax it's so oily right now. I don't know why. Like, I've just been struggling with a lot of their wax. So it's super easy to cut. So I figured this would go well doing this on the chop and chat. I don't really think I have complaints about anything else, really. I think that would be the biggest thing. The other thing would be just the commitment to communicate if things aren't going a certain way. Like, if, I know there's a huge problem right now, again, with wax and not getting it to vendors. They're having difficulty getting it again, which I feel terrible about. But I just think, just have open communication with your customers, and then that decreases a lot of frustration, I think. So for me, as long as they do that, I don't have a particular problem with that. I have a basket down here. I'm going to be putting them back into. So I think just having that communication, then that helps a lot with just people's frustration. I don't care if there's going to be delays as long as they communicate it. Mr. Claus from Teddy Bees. All right, the next one, let's see. Oh, Tiffany had just asked about like editing software, and I don't think she was specifically asking for this video, but I just wanted to cover it only because I thought, well, maybe if she's asking, there's other people that are asking. I just do this on my iPhone. I'm like no pro, okay? But I just do it on my phone. You guys know I have, I've done photography in the past, done weddings. I focused a lot on newborn and family. I did that when my kids were little, when I was working from home, and it was a great business for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I don't want to use that editing software, and I don't want to spend hours editing something for fun. So for me, I just use InShot, and I can post a picture on here. It's just an app. I have an iPhone, so it works well for me. I mean, I don't think there's really anything special to what I'm doing, but I do use an iPhone, and it is a 12 Pro, so I do think it's pretty darn good. All right. Oh, another favorite, Winterfell. I love this one from Teddy Bees. Okay, so Tiffany, I hope that helped you. I did comment back on that, so hopefully you did see that. Okay, so this bag, Tiffany had posted that there was going to be bigger chunks, which I don't care, but it's just insane that you get 4 massive chunks in here. But I need to cut it because this is way too much. Okay, so Bree said, do you melt at school? So when I did my contract that I just finished November 12th, I did at one of my schools because I was there every day for one of my students who has needs that I need to be there every day. Well, I need to be there if I can every day. I have a great secretary there who was amazing if I wasn't able to be there for some emergency. But I did use one of my 2-in-1 hot plates because it performs well, and I have so many warmers, and I just felt like if a kid got, sometimes that was at a middle school. I don't generally have a lot of behavioral issues that come into my office in middle school. When I'm in elementary, they come in and they say they're sick, so I have to assess them. And then when I tell them, no, I'm not calling home, or you can't go home, and this is why, then you get some of that behavior. So I've had kids in elementary who will throw things. So I brought in a warmer that I felt like was durable, and if it got broken, it wasn't like one from Scentsy that I could never get again. So it is a 2-in-1 from candlewarmers.com. It throws really well, and it was like $20, I think. So I did melt. Now at my new schools, I just started so I started on the 29th, and I have 4 new schools, and well, I had them last year. If you guys know, I did a subcontract last year for 6 months for somebody who had a baby. And then this fall, then I did summer school. Then I did another contract for another girl in the beginning of the year till November. And then now I'm hired on full time. Actually, I'm a permanent employee with the school district. Somebody left that I filled in for last year, the one who had her baby. She left. And so I'm going to cut up Birdie's Making Sense, this little shark here. I'm going to use it in 2 spots. So I do have my old schools back. Oh, actually, I'm going to cut this in 4. This is a really big sample. So I do have my old schools back that I had last year until April. So there is several that I'm thinking about. For 2 of my 4 schools, I am going to bring a warmer in. And then I always tell the principal and the secretary, if there's any complaints, if it's offensive, you tell me, I'll turn it off. It's anything like that. Because Bree asked, if so, how often, what isn't offensive or too strong? So, like I said, I usually will bring stuff, and I bring a lot of samples because that's the perfect time to try a sample. It's because it's small. If it's too strong, I will soak up half of it. I'm sorry, I didn't show this. This is Pharmacist Daughter. This is Royal Wedding. So if it's too strong, if somebody complains, I usually suck up half of it with my cotton balls I bring, and then it's only half. Then I suck up half of that sample, and then usually people don't say anything. So if someone says something, then I immediately just suck up half of it. So that's kind of how I do it. And and then she asked, what's your favorite scent? Oh, that's favorite scent or category. So that's kind of how I go about it, but I do tell my principal and secretary, and I ask them. Now I haven't asked them because I started this new position right, at like end of November into December, and we've been so busy with like Christmas stuff that I just didn't ask them. This is L3 Mac Apple Driftwood Beach Nights, so I didn't ask yet if I could do that, but I will. Oh my gosh, why do I always drop stuff? And depending on what they say, then I will. One of my schools, I know it won't be a problem, but I just want to make sure at my other school, I don't know. I like bringing them, and I usually will pick a lighter scent, like I said in my samples. But usually people don't say anything. And like I said, if it really is offensive, I'll immediately turn it off. And my office has doors, so if it is offensive, I will turn it off, and then I will shut my door until it clears out some, and then I will open my door back up. And they always know that if they need me, obviously just knock or come in. This one is Ebony Violet Sweaters and Leggings. And she also asked, what is your favorite scent category or blend? Well, my scent category is bakery and fizzy or fruity. I think I would say more fizzy because I don't generally just go for fruity blends per se. I like them to have a little fizz in them. My favorite, if you didn't watch, you can catch my video I posted today, and then this part 2 will be posted tomorrow of my favorite scents from every vendor. And so I'm not going to give away. I have so many. If you watch my video and you're just like, oh my gosh, you have too many favorites. Well, to be fair, there's so many good scents. And I don't want to be like, I just couldn't come up with 10. So if you want to know, check out that video and you can see some of my favorites there. Let's see what I have. Ooh, the Melted Mousse Whoville. I'm going to cut these because these are kind of bigger pieces. And then she also asked, look at how cute these are. Oh my gosh. She also asked, am I a seasonal or mood melter? I'm a little bit of both, I think, because in Melted Mousse, it cuts so easy. I'm a little bit of both because like I've been doing a ton of Christmas stuff and I love that. And then like I've been doing a little bit more fizzy now in my bathroom because as New Year comes and Valentine's, that's kind of what I like. So I would definitely say I'm a seasonal, but if I'm like in the mood, I tried doing a certain watermelon scent this winter, or like in November, and I just couldn't do it. So I would probably say I am. Although like I'm warming Circus Concession right now in my open concept downstairs, and it's been going now for about 15, 16 hours. I don't even want to take it out because I can still smell it. I always have to drop something. I can still smell it, and that's like my favorite scent. And if I don't get any in this restock, then I would be devastated. So I do warm that. Okay, thank you, Bree, for those questions. Then I'm going to do Sassy Girl Room heading to camp. This is a smoky blend. So this is from Jillian. So we see you love your dogs. What pets do you have? What pets did you have growing up, if any? Okay, so I did have some pets, but I shared this with you guys. My parents were addicts, and I usually warm up my Sassy Girl aroma, so this is just gonna fray. Oh, I hate that. It's like Rose Girls. It's the same kind of wax, and it just makes a huge mess. All for videos. I'll do it. I think I won't cut all my Sassy Girl that I need to. So we had two dogs that I can recall. It was right as my mom started using hardcore cocaine. So we had two dogs, Scooby and Sandy. And Scooby was from the pound, and he was a beautiful black and white, she's a girl named Scooby, and she was from the pound, and she ended up having a litter of puppies, and then my parents, or my mom, I should say, my dad wasn't really around. So she ended up finding homes for those ones. And then we had also had Sandy, And Sandy was a purebred little dog. My grandma actually gave us kids because she wanted us to have a dog. This is Mike Myers. And several times Scooby had gotten away and got picked up by the pound, and my mom had to pay for her to get out. And so the last time, my mom was really heavy into cocaine by that point, and like she was completely out of it. Like it was so bad. She would hallucinate, and she'd have all these parties, and I mean, I grew up having spoons that were black on the bottom, and I always thought, well, that's so weird. Why are my spoons always black? And it's because they were cooking the cocaine to shoot them up, and I used to see my mom shoot up a lot. Sorry, that's a side note. But like, so she got really bad at that point. So the dogs got picked up because, you know, she never kept them in the yard. They weren't on leashes. They didn't have, you know, she couldn't afford a fence. It was just a rental house that we lived in. I'm going to cut up this Glitterati blue sugar ice cream scoop bread. So the dogs had gotten out again, and they got picked up. And by this point, like I said, she was pretty heavy into using, and she didn't go get them. And I never wanted another dog for a long, long time because that was so hard for me, that you love these animals, and then just how much she could just push them off and blow them away like they didn't matter. It was very hurtful to me as a kid. I just really devastated me. I cried. I put up posters. She didn't tell me. It was just devastating. I mean, I found out from my grandma later on what happened. Because my grandma was ticked because she gave that dog, that purebred, to my mom, Lancelot. So I did find out from my grandparents, because they were like my parents, and they were great. They were good people. And kind of traumatized me for a long time. That's why I didn't have pets until I was pretty stable in my life, because I didn't ever want to like push an animal aside like they didn't matter. I felt like it was a life commitment, and how dare you do that to an innocent animal? And I'm sure I hope and pray they ended up in a better place, but sorry. That was very hard for me as a kid, just to lose your pet, like, and have your mother treat them like they were waste, you know, but she treated us like that, so I shouldn't be surprised, but it is sad. So we had some farm cats when we lived in different places. In the town where I met my husband, we had cats outside because I'm very allergic to cats, like very, very allergic to cats. So obviously that wasn't you know, you couldn't just have cats, even though they're, you know, I think a little easier to manage, but we couldn't have that because of me. I just want to see what's in here. I don't want to cut up certain ones because they're so darn hard to cut up. Let's cut up Zape's elf cookies. I want to use this. And so now we have Samson is our golden doodle. He's 10. And then we have Sheldon, who's a year and a half. He'll be 2 in March. Almost 2, I guess. Yeah. And then we have Layla and Charlie are siblings, and they're cousins to Sheldon. They're all toy poodles, and they just turned 1 in November. And then we have a new one, Linus, because Charlie and Linus, who is 10 weeks. And he's a miniature poodle, I believe is what he's called. So he's my friend is a breeder, and so he's in a guardian home, so he's under our care, but she will use him for breeding. She really, she's really honestly an amazing breeder, and otherwise I wouldn't, be her friend, but, so she had gotten this beautiful Linus, and she really wants him to be socialized and not just be, you know, a dog for breeding. Like, she feels like dogs should have good lives. She is amazing with her dogs. Like, I always go over there, and she's just the best dog mom ever. I love her. She just loves dogs. She has golden doodles and toy poodles and standard poodles. And so Linus is hers when he gets older, when she needs him, right, on certain times. I'm going to cut up the caramel cherry cola. This is one of my customs, and she poured the cloud cakes. So Linus is new to us, and he was kind of a surprise. She asked us, she wanted him to go to somebody who would love on him and she knows would take good care of him, so she asked us, and my husband is such a sucker. He said, of course we'll take another one. So I was like, okay, guess so. But he is very spoiled. Well, they all are. Okay, and then she also asked, and besides your apple orchard, do you have a vegetable garden or flower garden? Thanks. Well, I do have a vegetable garden. It's right over here. It's above the ground. We also have a huge garden by the apple trees, but we had an issue with deer. So, and the fence broke, so my husband moved it up here. And then this summer, he's going to rebuild that fence, and then they will move, then the above the ground garden will go down there. Like, I have a whole built-in sprinkler thing. My husband is amazing, and he put, like, dug in, like, so it's underground because of obviously mowing and stuff. So he put in like a whole water system down there. So I have that. So eventually to go down there, and I plant everything that we love to eat. It's amazing. I enjoy it. I've gotten more into herbs, and oops, sorry, I'm gonna do this from Vintage Chic. This is Firestarter Embeds with McBlue Overpour. So I've gotten more into herbs now because I like to make a lot of salads and a lot of different things. So I just have enjoyed like kale, and what else did we have out there? Just a ton of herbs and spinach, and then I do a lot of lettuce because I love to make my own salads in the summer. I can my own spaghetti sauce, so we do a ton of tomatoes and all different varieties. Cucumbers, I mean, just everything. So yes, I do love that. And as far as flowers go, I do a lot of flower pots on my porch, and I love them. I do not have, my mom and my sister, my mom, which has always surprised me, she's like so good with plants, flowers, and she has a garden now. I don't really speak to her. She's in her how old is she? I think she's in her 70s. She still has a lot of mental health problems, so I just can't, I can't adult with her, twist her. I've tried for many years, and she is just a toxic person who she literally hates me. Let's be real. I am successful, and I say that only in the sense of because that's what she thinks, and then she won't speak to me. Because she, most parents want their kids to do better. My mom didn't want that for her kids. If we were struggling, she would speak to us. And then the second, if you were doing better than her, she won't speak to you, and she talks trash about you behind your back. So that's my mother to me. But when I was a kid, I got all of the abuse in the house. So I was the one that, for abuse, I was the person that she went after. Physically and more emotional abuse than anything she did hit me a lot, but I wouldn't say it was like, oh, well, she was really mean to me. I mean, she did hit me with a lot of objects, but, and I don't touch my kids because okay, so she has a garden now. She was never like that when we were little, but now she does, because I think it just helps her mentally, maybe. And my sister is like amazing with flowers and plants, and she has a garden too. My sister and I, when we got away from my mom and in our 20s and stuff, we were having kids, and so I would have a kid, and the next year she would have a kid, and this is poolside laundry. I'm just gonna cut this in half. And so my sister and I always like did things together. We went to the zoo together. The park, our kids had birthdays together. I mean, it was just, we did a lot of things together. That's why it's really hard for me with my sister. This is Cupcakes Night Owl Candle Company. And so my sister is very good with the garden as well. And she's the one who has, she has ducks and the turkeys, if you guys saw my Instagram with her. So she's also does well, but she has a lot of plants in her house, and I don't do well with plants. The only ones I do well with are orchids, because orchids you water once a week and they live. So I don't have the same like thumb as my mom and my sister do. But this is Dessa's Under the Sea. I usually just cut them in 3 or 4. Dessa's Northern Lights. So yes, we do tend to do a lot of that. My sister and I have planted together. We used to go to the Amish farm and we would get our plants together. I mean, my sister and I, like I said, we're very close. We raised our kids together. We have done a lot of things together. So, Jillian, thank you for that question. Kelly said, what is your favorite food? My favorite food, oh my gosh, this is Pirate Voyage. I would say, gosh, if you want to be really specific, there's a Thai restaurant in town, in our small town, that is phenomenal, and they make an orange chicken and then pad Thai noodles that are like my favorite. Like, if you were going to give me my last supper, that would be what I would pick. It's amazing. This is Destination Wax Moon Spice Cookie. I have to tell you that if you ask me every day if I could have those, you know, I usually order both, and then my husband and I split them. And then we get crab rangoons, or cream cheese wontons. And so I would be all about that. This is pumpkin pie, eggnog, brown sugar, pound cake. So that would be, but other than that, I love pizza, obviously, but I have to have gluten-free pizza. So I do have a few good gluten-free pizzas that my husband and I have found. But those aren't like my last supper kind of thing. I would definitely say it's my orange chicken. Otherwise, there is egg rolls in Eau Claire, in a town by us that's, I forget the name. I think it's just Egg Roll Plus. They are, like, we're going to do that on New Year's Eve. I think we're having that. My husband picks up a bunch for our family size. And then we have, like, I think he gets a few others, like, things for the kids, but I just eat the egg rolls. Those are another amazing meal, but mine would probably be that darn orange chicken. I also love my chicken dumpling soup from scratch that I make. This is Christmas Vacation. And then Kelly also asked, where do you like to travel? So I have been, I just cut his head off. I have been on I've been on a cruise every year from 2017, 18, 19, and 20. So I've been on 4 cruises. I earned those in a company that I sold for, that I was successful with. So I've been on those cruises, and they were mostly like lower Caribbean, San Juan, Puerto Rico, like way down in the Caribbean and stuff. Those were phenomenal. I loved going on cruises. I would love to go again. This is Southbound. But I know with the state of the world, it's a little tough right now. Other than that, we went out east with my sister. She had to, I'm going to cut this Sassy Girl Aroma. This is from Jennifer Santos Royale. I really want this again. We went out east, so that was fun. But typically my family, my husband and the kids and I, we drive to Florida twice a year. We did it 2 years ago. We didn't do it last year because January I went to Daytona with 2 of my work friends, and we sat on the beach. It was so fun. And then in May I went with another friend to, I forget the name in Florida, but it's further south, and it's not a tourist place. It's a beautiful beach, though. I can't remember what it's called. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. But it's on the Gulf side again. But it's like a ritzy part of Florida, and it was beautiful. Oh my gosh, and the beaches were insane. So I really do like Florida. I was born in Florida, which is, maybe people don't know that, which is fine. But I was born there, and my parents were hippies, and they traveled all over the U.S. in a bus. And so I was born in Florida. My older sister was born in Oregon. My younger sister was in Wisconsin. My other brother was born, where was he born? I forget. This is Candy Wash from Nana Makes Sense. So I really have a heart for Florida. So I really do. We've been on both sides, you know, and I like Florida in general right now. And I want to go back. I'm going to do Dessa's beach nights. I'm hoping to go sometime soon with at least one of my friends. We're going to go to Florida again. So I would love to go to Hawaii, but my ultimate wish is to go to drive around go to Ireland and stuff and drive around and spend like a couple weeks over there. And I would love to go to Paris. I would love to go that way, and Italy. And my sister's been to Hawaii. That was something I helped her. We did a fundraiser, or I did a fundraiser, and she went to Hawaii with some of the money that I helped raise. That was part of her wish. And do the melted moose, Oh Holy Night. So she got to go to Hawaii, which she said was amazing, and I would like to eventually go there, but I want to go to Ireland first. Like, if a movie is about Ireland, I will watch it. So if you have a favorite one I haven't seen, I just love the scenery. I was watching Leap Year the other night. If you haven't seen that, it's a great one. And my husband put it in for me because I was laying with the puppies, and he's like, oh, I'm going to put a movie in for you. And I'm like, no, because what are you going to pick? And he put in Leap Year, and I was like, yes. So I'm all about watching movies about Ireland and just the scenery and just the castles and the greenery and the cliffs. And I love it. I'm just a sucker for that. Okay, do you notice the theme with all my wax being blue? Stay tuned for that. Like 90% of this wax is blue. Dessa's Candy Cane Snowball Cookies. I'm going to round this up because it's going to get long. Okay, let's see if there's any more. Okay, let's see. Did I already answer this? No, I think I already did. Okay, so I think those were all the questions. If I missed any because you posted them later, I'm sorry. I just thought I would answer a few of those questions because you guys asked them good questions. I appreciate it. I'm sure I missed some because that would be me. But I just thought I needed to chop up some of this wax, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. Come on here and talk to you guys. I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas and have a safe and happy New Year. I think I'm going to post this on New Year's Eve, so cheers. That's some good coffee with a little peppermint in it. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, if my husband and I go out to dinner tonight, he's going to be driving, and believe me, I didn't really put that much in here, and my husband is not, he's not a big, has alcohol kind of person. So, believe me, if I have anything, he'll drive. Let's do a few more of these. I'm going to cut up Jaws, but yeah, I will cut that up. Cotton-headed Nitty Muggins from L3. So, I just want to say that as 2021 comes to a close, and I think, like I said, I'll post this on New Year's Eve. I do have some stuff I'm going to post on the 1st and the 2nd, so you guys will know what that's all about coming up here shortly. And I just want to say that I know there's a lot of you, it's been a hard year, and we all are like, oh, I hope 2022 is going to be better. I know for some of you, you're going to be starting a new journey, whether that's easy or difficult. And in the wax world, I think there are some of us that are struggling, and I'm not going to say anything more than that. Everybody knows my struggles right now with my sister, and I just know there are others who are having more challenging times. And you keep looking forward as the new year comes, maybe this year will be better than 2020, and then maybe it's not going to be. Maybe it's just going to be different than you expected. And I just have to focus on, our life it can be very challenging, but with every challenge, I feel like you come out stronger, and there's a reason behind it. I have to know, and in my heart, I believe, this was cookies under the fire, I have to believe that Andrew's death, there has to be a purpose in it for me. And I think I've shared this before. And I know some of you may not agree, but I was a good person before my son was put on this earth. But he made me a better person. And so I just think about that, there is a purpose sometimes behind our struggles and what we go through and how God tests us. And maybe you don't believe in God, which I've been down that path. This is Jaws. I've been down that road of maybe God doesn't exist, because why would he send my son to die? And then I think about Mary and Joseph, and I think, well, he sent her son to die, and he died for a much greater cause, for our sin, and so we would have eternal life. So not that my son is Jesus, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that with our life, through struggles can come great things, you know, like I think about my son. Like my kids have talked about being a physical therapist or working with kids in healthcare who have Down syndrome, or just making people more aware of the blessing of Down syndrome. Not that, you know, from what we were told, he would have a terrible life and we should not keep him and we should give him up for adoption. We should terminate. Like, there was a lot of things thrown at my husband and I that were very overwhelming. Christmas cookie therapy. And so I think about that and just like, you know, we can learn and grow from everything we go through. And as 2022 approaches, I'm just going to challenge you to try to think about that when life becomes really overwhelming for you. And I'm going to, hopefully you guys will remind me of this too, is just try to come out ahead and focus on the things you can control. So like with my sister, it's spending time with her because that's what I can control. I'm going to cut up this zape. This is so yummy. This is Tinseltown. Oh my gosh, this would definitely be a repurchase for next year. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to focus on things I can control. Look at how pretty this is. Oh my gosh. I'm only going to cut up one of these because I don't, let me see how much I have from this, because I won't cut up both. No, I'll have to, because this won't go in all my living room. Well, yeah, it might actually. It will go in my living room. So I'm only going to cut up one of these. Because I don't know, will I be warming this in more than, a month? I don't know. It smells so good. So I just think that's something we have to focus on instead of focusing on all the negativity, because there's a lot of it in this world, and sadly we see that. So, all right. That's what I have for you. All right, well, thanks for joining me for my chop and chat. I will do this again if you guys want, and you can leave more questions below, and we can do this again in the new year. I'm, again, looking forward to just continued health for my sister and that she's here, and just praying for all of you that I know that are going through some things in your life, and just praying that God is with you. And let's just continue to lift each other up in this, 2022, because really I don't know what's going to come of 2022 now as well. So I just want to say, I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day.